good afternoon, good evening, good night, and welcome to today's episode of Law, News, and Laughter, people. It has been a hot minute, so we're going to get stuck into a few things. Some of the news articles today are going to be a little bit older. So one of them is going to be from March, just because I found it funny. I mean, how often do you get to hear about someone dual-wielding steaks and slapping vegans in the face? Beyond that, we also have the US federal government taking Texas to court. We have an emotional support stripper working in the Ukraine. And we have California aiming to tap beavers, once viewed as a nuisance, to help with water issues and wildfires. Let's get stuck into it, shall we, people? Welcome to Law, News, and Laughter. Okay, just briefly, given that we have presumably a bunch of people in here that have never seen the show, given that you may have just come over directly from Vices, look at it this way, guys. I deal with news articles that contain law, news, and laughter. Think of it as, for those of you that have watched Nick recently, What the Fuck Wednesday, but on a fairly regular basis, and we try to jump around mostly legal topics in terms of the what the fuckedness. Starting with, we have a, hang on, where's it gone? We have a woman who married a ghost and has ditched her husband after less than a year of being married. Yeah, she looks like the kind that would actually marry a ghost. A singer who claimed to have married a ghost of a Victorian soldier says she's getting divorced. Brocade, 40, from Oxfordshire, of course she's in England, said she met the spirit of Eduardo one stormy night in 2021 when he burst into her bedroom and immediately professed his love for her. Okay. They supposedly then became inseparable, and the ghost even sent her cryptic messages in the shower. Yeah, okay. The whole... okay, I get it. You used to leaving the notes in the moisture on the fucking mirror, like saying I love you, whatever else, but what the hell? It didn't take long for cracks to begin to appear in the otherworldly relationship. What, like the fact that he wasn't cleaning up after himself, doing a load of washing, doing the dishes, that sort of thing? She previously claimed herself and Eduardo had argued over their wedding date. I want a summer wedding, but he hates the heat. I wonder why. And I'd secretly love to make him melt, but he disappears often enough as it is. Oh my god. For weeks we got nowhere with it, so I'm going to design a Ouija board of wedding dates to see which one we're both drawn to. Yeah, okay. Wait. So the wedding went ahead? The wedding clip. How old is this article? We have a...
Bricard, do you take Eduardo to be your partner in the adventure that lies ahead? Do you promise to walk side by side to the ends of the earth? To love, encourage and support each other in every endeavour? Do you commit to open...
How much money must this celebrant have been paid to take this seriously if he is a registered celebrant?
Opening yourself up completely and sharing your entire beings together. To share laughter as well as tears. Do you take Eduardo as your partner from now until the end of time?
I do.
Eduardo,
Ghost
do you
couldn't
take
consent.
Bricard to be your partner in the adventure that lies ahead? Do you promise to walk side by side to the ends of the earth, to love, encourage and support each other in every endeavour? Do you commit to opening yourself up completely and sharing your entire...
This is in England. I want to know how he responds. Where's the Ouija board that shows that he says I do?
Do you take Bricard to be your partner from now until the end of time?
He does.
He does! Oh! She answers for him! Lovely! Sounds like every other marriage, let's be fair. I swear he's turned into a complete groomzilla and his list of demands grows daily. Eduardo's always had a temperamental nature, but the nuptials seem to be bringing out the worst in him. I do. Does he need certification for this? I would expect so. That's why I think this is so weird. How did he sign the papers? That's actually a good point. Power of attorney, maybe. The singer also claimed the spirit often took issue with her discussing their relationship publicly, though this didn't keep her from appearing on This Morning and posting the wedding ceremony on Instagram. After the marriage was officiated, Bricard often complained they'd fallen out over Eduardo getting too drunk during the honeymoon in Wales. Ghost booze. Notice I said booze, not ghost boobs, although I'm sure they'll come into the play down the track as well. Bring on the men in white. What happens when she becomes a ghost? They spend all of eternity together. I mean, to death do us part really doesn't make sense in this situation. In the months since, she claims the spirit had become increasingly possessive. Oh my god. His apparent fascination with Marilyn Monroe appears to have proven a further obstacle to the marital bliss, after she claims to have spotted the spirit of the late Hollywood actress at the chapel. She told Wales Online he would routinely disappear and then emerge days later smelling of Chanel No. 5, Monroe's favourite perfume. She announced a split with the release of her latest track. There it is. What do we got in the comments? Wonder if her music's producer is Phil Spector. She should be locked up, both for her own and other safety. Apparently the husband's been ghosting her ever since. Oh, that's... yeah, possessive spirit, exactly. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Alright. So, see you in court. Fight erupts between Texas and the US federal government. Doesn't look like much to the naked eye, but a floating barrier in the United States has caused all sorts of problems. Texas Governor Greg Abbott defied the administration of Joe Biden on Monday, as the Justice Department sued his state for trying to block the US-Mexican border with a floating barrier and razor wire along the Rio Grande. The department told the state last week that the string of large orange buoys near Eagle Pass, Texas, illegally obstructed river navigation and lack federal permission. This floating barrier poses threats to navigation and public safety and presents humanitarian concerns, said Associate Attorney General Vanita Gupta. But in a reply letter addressed to Biden on Monday, Abbott said he had the power to protect the sovereign interests of Texas by installing the buoys. This is interesting, because, I mean, obviously there's the conflict between federal... Hang on, how does it work? Is it federal ownership of waterways? Because that's what the EPA uses, isn't it? That as soon as there's any sort of water, they can... Tina's like, come and take it, USOBs! Don't mess with Texas, let's go, Brandon. I mean, if the whole idea of this is to protect the border, then it kind of makes a bit of sense to me. He accused Biden of not fulfilling his own responsibilities to halt the flow of migrants over the southern border with Mexico. If you truly care about human life, you'll begin enforcing federal immigration laws, Abbott wrote. By doing so, you can help me stop migrants from wagering their lives in the waters of the Rio Grande River. Texas will see you in court, Mr. President. That's what you want to hear. The string of buoys was installed on the river at the popular migrant crossing point this month, along with large razor wire barriers on shore. According to reports, some migrants have required a rescue after being trapped in the razor wire. A Biden administration official, speaking on the condition of anonymity, because I can't get my words out, said Republicans are playing political games with immigration. Republican hardliners have spent years whipping up fear over what they frequently call an invasion of illegal immigrants. It is an invasion of illegal immigrants. You've got more people from China coming in from Canada and from Mexico than you do from anywhere else. Let alone the Mexicans that are jumping the border so they can do your gardening. Like, seriously. Bribden isn't doing their job. Biden needs to go do his sniffing. Oh, God. What about the safety of the citizens from illegals pouring in by the hundreds daily? Well, that's exactly the point. Biden should swim the Rio Grande with the razor wire still there. Ooh. Always unnamed sources. To be fair, I don't feel bad about the unnamed sources. I mean, look, would you really want to be risking your job if you were one of the good guys on the inside trying to bring it down from the inside? Yes, Chandler, Biden is very much a joke. Still can't get decent General So's chicken. Donald Trump and his main rival for 2024, Governor Ron DeSantis, have put what they claim to be out-of-control border crossings at the center of their campaigns. However, the White House poses... Wait, what? Biden filmed nibbling on little girl's shoulder? And that's a really crazy freaking picture, too. What the... Hang on. Creepy act continues weird trend. Nibbling on little girl... Can we just make it a rule that he has to have a 5-foot perimeter around him where children do not enter? Like, seriously. It doesn't really matter if Trump goes to jail or not. He can still be president from there. Pattern detected. Sad thing is, not surprised at all. No. Okay. However, the White House points to the number of illegal crossings having plummeted in the wake of strict new asylum rules. Yeah, illegal crossings aren't illegal crossings if all of a sudden you're classifying what were illegal crossings as asylum requests. And you're then placing people into... That's why I have so many issues with Australia and the Nauru situation. So for anyone that doesn't know, when people hop on boats and come to Australia, we do not allow them to set foot into the mainland of Australia. We have an agreement with one of the small island nations called Nauru, where they get shipped to and stay there until such time as their asylum applications are either processed or rejected and they're returned to their country of origin. We do not allow them to set foot on Australia. He was chewing on it. It's weird. Like, that is weird to me. So if all of a sudden all he's doing is changing he does a little bit like Kane from the Poltergeist there. If all he's doing is changing the definition of what is classed as an illegal crossing, that really doesn't change the fact that you have a whole bunch of individuals that are still entering into the country, like under what would originally be called... Sounds like a racist policy? Fucking oath it is, and I have no issue with that, MLS. It's literally... I have said this multiple times. You come to Australia to experience the best that our country has to give, not for you to bring the worst bits of yours. So, if you're going to come here, it needs to be purely you have a legitimate reason, you are willing to integrate into society, and we've been a little bit lax on that, which is why we get these cliques and niches in the demographics of Australia that are causing problems, and I wholeheartedly believe that. Think it's wrong for a large amount of people to go to a country and settle there as if it's their home? Yep. And I'm aware of the hypocrisy of that. Thank you for the super chat, Excoma. Trump had it that way. Asylum seekers were to stay in the nearest country while paperwork was being done before coming here. But with a swipe of the pen, Biden undid all of that. There you go. Trump didn't take it through Congress before he lost the House and the Senate. Matter of time before landowners at the border start sniping illegals, and I wholeheartedly support it, says Jason J. Damn. Wish the UK would wake up to the attitude. Okay. Where do we get to? Republican officials don't want solutions, they want chaos, the administration official said. Hours after Abbott's letter was released, the Justice Department filed suit in federal court in Austin, Texas. It said the barrier violated the U.S. Rivers and Harbors Act, which establishes protections for public waterways under the oversight of the Army Corps of Engineers. The suit said Texas needed permission from the Army Corps of Engineers to place any structure or barrier in the Rio Grande. The Justice Department asked the court to order Abbott to remove the barrier. We must all recognise that the laws and policies are in place, both domestic and international, to ensure the safety and security of everyone working, living and travelling along the river. These laws cannot be ignored, said Jamie Esparza, the federal prosecutor in Austin. In addition, a leaked US Customs and Border Protection memo said the razor wire placed by the state agents interfered with its own Border Patrol operations. Ooh, that sucks. Illegal immigration is a strain on the economy. Yeah, it always is. When they come to Australia and try the same things they claim to want to get away from. That's part of the problem, really. Both sides have controlled the Fed and never did anything. Trump was even fought by Republicans on the wall. So many dead bodies from border crossings they had to have mobile storage for them. Jesus. Meanwhile, in Mexico, President Andrés Manuel López Obrador said he had held a very productive meeting with a US delegation led by top White House official Elizabeth Sherwood Randall. López Obrador said in a tweet on Monday evening that the talks with Biden's Homeland Security advisor covered the immigration issue with a focus for respect on human rights, as well as the fight against fentanyl and arms trafficking. How bad must shit be in Mexico? Like, like, I get it. Okay. I understand people running from the Middle East, because I mean that's a good chunk of what we get are the international refugees that we get. Mostly, what they do is they make their way to Indonesia, then they hop on a boat and try and make their way into the Northern Territory, the uppermost parts of Queensland, and the upper parts of Western Australia. So we get illegal immigrants coming in from all over the place. Just annex Mexico. That could work. But it's sort of like, at what point does Mexico get their shit together and actually start looking after their people? If it were about human rights, they'd fix their own country. Literally a question that the cartels are pretty bad, I hear. Coming up from Guatemala through Mexico. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Okay. Alright. An Arizona woman has died after her power was cut over a $51 debt that forced utilities to change. Stephanie Pullman died in a sweltering Arizona day after her electricity was cut off because of a $51 debt. 5 years later, the 72-year-old's story remains at the heart of efforts to prevent others in Arizona from having their power cut off, leaving them without life-saving air conditioning in temperatures that have topped 110 degrees or 43 degrees Celsius every day this month. Stephanie Pullman was the face of the fight that helped put the disconnect rules in place for the big regulated utilities in Arizona, said Stacey Champion, an advocate who pushed the new regulations. But we need more. Arizona Public Service, also known as APS, disconnected Pullman's power in September 2018, at a time when temperatures outside in her retirement community west of Phoenix reached 107 degrees Fahrenheit or 41.6 Celsius. Just days before, a $125 payment had been made towards her $176 bill. That's some bullshit. As far as I'm concerned, if more than 75% of the bill's been paid... Although, hang on. Before I go and do something stupid, let me actually check the math on that, because that may not be accurate. Was it 176 times... Okay, yeah, fair enough. So she was less than 75%. If a substantial amount's been paid towards the bill, they shouldn't be able to disconnect it. That's... US power companies are ruthless and greedy. Sorry to hear that. Always been the thing with Mexico immigration. Why doesn't the US try and help Mexico sort itself out, solve a lot of problems? Because as bad as it sounds, as far as I'm concerned, every country should focus on their own issues first. Until you can show me a country that is an absolute utopia for all of its people, they shouldn't be interfering in the internal issues of other countries. So... Thought the refugees were supposed to seek refuge at the first safe nation. Didn't realise it was about cherry-picking the best economic policies to benefit illegals. Yeah, that is a problem. Mostly military-aged men crossing. It's not mostly women and children. Oh, that's an issue too, for obvious reasons. Hey, White Rabbit, how you doing? Need some more cheap, affordable green energy, says Dwayne Mansell. They disconnected mine back in February for like a $120 bill. Haven't even gotten the next one yet. They said it's almost time to read for the next one. Didn't make sense. That's nuts. My last electricity bill was $200 for a one-bedroom apartment. Far out. Tina, that sucks. I mean, look, I can't talk. Our gas bill for the 2 months was about $800, but that is in the middle of winter, and because of respiratory issues for the little one and the wife, and even me at times, we've almost always got the heater running during winter. But that's, yeah, it's a lot of Chinese men with Red Army connections. And no one's raising a red flag on that? Like, that's a little bit concerning. Is Rumble actually running? Guys, if any of you are over watching on Rumble, can you just throw something in the chat, just so I can know that it's actually working? Nuclear power is the way to go. I genuinely believe that. A lot of people are concerned about what happened with Fukushima and Chernobyl and all that sort of stuff, and it's like, well, okay. When one of the shuttles exploded, it didn't stop us from going to the moon. Unfortunately, as bad as it sounds, at different times there is going to be trial and error with certain things. That's why I genuinely believe that if you're going to do nuclear, do it in a remote region where it's not going to cause issues. Seriously, we don't turn the heater on anymore. We acclimatized, lol. Yeah, no, like I said, for us it's mostly about respiratory issues, because if it drops below a certain temperature... Thank you very much, people, over on Rumble. Appreciate that. If it drops below a certain temperature, it causes respiratory infections for my daughter, and we can't risk it. 900 last August. Everyone's was insane, so the lawsuit was valid. A lot of homelessness around the country, but Biden allowed Social Security income for people coming from Ukraine. Oh, that's not great. Nuclear power is great. All of the meltdowns were caused by negligence or natural disaster. Exactly. So, for example, I think that it would be a prime position for one to be put into, I don't know, the outback in South Australia. Now, I understand that cooling's an issue, but I mean, if you put it in part of the remote area on the coast, use a desalination plant, there are many ways that you could make it work. There really are. So, yeah, it's one of those... In the northeast US, natural gas is the answer. Yeah, well, the trouble is natural gas is still going to run out eventually. And, you know, obviously companies are going to look for the cheapest way to do it, so you're going to wind up with fracking and all sorts of shit. So, whilst I get that, and I do think that gas needs to be I do think that it needs to be part of the solution. I do think that once we get sufficiently progressed in nuclear technology, I do think it is the way to go. Bribden has told the world we're out of ammo, so is Ukraine. You know, part of me is wondering whether or not that was on purpose, though. Whether or not sending all the ammunition and everything to the Ukraine was to boost the the US economy. Because all of a sudden, then, we've got massive government spending on US industry, on production lines for ammunition, for military weapons, all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's not as if any countries in the last, 60, 70 odd years have ever had a booming economy come from, I don't know, a world war. So, ran us out of oil reserve and ammo. Lovely. Build more of those worthless windmills, damn it. Dwayne, I will make sure they build one in your backyard if you're not careful. What? Oh, no, it's fine. I didn't take it as offense. I was just explaining the bill. Biden improving the economy. Come on now, Hayden. We're not reading fantasy novels. This is true. Okay, where do we get to? Her body was found inside her home during a subsequent wellness check. The medical examiner's office said Pullman died from environmental heat exposure combined with cardiovascular disease after the shutoff. That sucks. Like many older residents of the Phoenix area retirement communities, Pullman was a native Midwesterner, living alone after moving from Ohio, where her family remains. Details about her life are sketchy because her family cannot discuss the case under a private legal settlement with APS. I can't talk, Pullman's son Tim Pullman said when reached by telephone in Ohio. Champion said that the family was suddenly stopped talking about her after the 2019 settlement. Well, if there's an NDA... Homeowners Association doesn't allow windmills. I tried. Oh, look, honestly, on a personal basis, like just if you're charging your phone or something, like a 3D printed windmill to put in your backyard, it would be brilliant. I actually went so far as to buy off eBay. You can buy the motors, and I've still got to 3D print the wind turbine to put on it. But you know, in case of emergency, like at least having that so you can charge your phone or some shit if the power goes out, I do think it's like not bad for a personal use. I don't think for proper energy generation that it really works, especially given that, you know, the fins are fiberglass and they have to be buried once they're out of use or whatever else. It's not really long term. I mean, the ones that go in the ocean may be a little bit better, but of course, yeah. Well, fossil fuels are running out. We need to sort something out. Yeah, HOAs are the devil. I cannot stand homeowners associations, or as we call them here, owners corporations. Okay, where did we get to? The death prompted Champion and others to demand new rules to prevent shutoffs. The case raised awareness after extreme heat dangers, and it did spark change. People are now more cognizant in that low-income people can lose their power in the home at any time, said Phoenix attorney Tom Ryan, a consumer advocate familiar with the case. Couldn't someone have spared her the $51? She may have been too proud to request the assistance, or maybe her family just literally could not afford it. Either way, it's one of those things where I've never really been a fan of private enterprise owning things that should be government utilities. I mean, we pay enough tax as it is. I'm sure that they could probably run that without it needing to be for profit. But anyway, I digress. Don't believe fossil fuels are running out. There's a lot of it. There's still a lot in areas. Well, I mean, that was part of the whole thing, because that's the other thing that I freaked Jeff out about at one point. Part of the Maritime Convention on drilling under the water, one of the smaller countries, backed by Canada, just blew that out of the water, because the way that it worked was that if someone applied for a drilling permit in a certain area, within 2 years, the whole world had to come together and make a list of rules as to how to do it properly. That 2 years was up on like the 9th of July, because one small nation sort of applied for a permit so that they could drill. And so now there's a company out there that's got like a 16,000 square mile area that they're allowed to do exploratory drilling in. And they're just going to pull a whole heap of oil and stuff out from under the ocean. Did you know cars were originally electric? Okay. Shut-offs are not done in my town during extreme temps. Okay, awesome. When the aliens invade, we can turn their corpses into petroleum byproducts. Not if they're not carbon-based. We don't know. Maybe they'll be silicone-based aliens. In which case, we'll be screwed. It's kind of finders keepers. Look, it is, but at a certain extent, so there's certain areas, once you get outside the economic exclusion zone of, I think it's like 10 or 15 miles off the coast of each country, technically you're in international waters that no one owns. So it's not so much finders keepers as it is you're taking something that technically belongs to the rest of the planet. So, excellent CPUs for everyone. Electric vehicles need fossil fuel, what's the point? Well, I mean, once we get... that's why we need things like nuclear and other way... nuclear. It's pronounced nuclear. Once we get to areas where we're not using fossil fuels. But I mean, the other thing... I'm a very big believer that we need to get hydrogen right. It's a base, because without carbon being attached to it, it's very clean. You burn hydrogen, it creates water. And really, as far as I'm aware, the only thing we're still waiting on is proper storage mechanisms for it. Because you can run a car on hydrogen, no worries. Hydroelectric is obvious. Most of the world is water. This is true. We already have silicon-based aliens. They live in Hollywood. Oh, jeez. Okay, alright. Need to focus. In 2019, the Arizona Corporation Commission, which regulates most of the state's utilities, issued a moratorium on summertime shutoffs by APS and other power companies it oversees. Last year, the commission permanently banned electricity cutoffs during the hottest months. Electricity utilities can choose to pause disconnections from June 1 through to October 15, or pause them on days forecasted to be above 95 degrees or below 32 degrees. APS, Tucson Electricity Power, which serves Arizona's second largest city, and Unisource, which provides power in Mojave and Santa Cruz counties, chose the date-based option. Put electric power plants near oceans and use ocean movements to generate power. Yeah. There will be no disconnections for past due residential accounts through mid-October, with late fees waived during the period, APS confirmed. We urge customers who are struggling with overdue bills to contact us so we can work with them to get their account in good standing and try to keep balances from continuing to build. APS is the principal subsidiary of publicly traded Pinnacle West Capital Corp and has about 1.2 million customers. It gives a discount of up to 25% on energy bills for people who qualify, like a family of 3 with a gross monthly income under $4,143, or a single person in a home with a gross monthly income of $2,430. Okay. Arizona's second largest provider, Salt River Project. Are they really just going to go through who... What do we got? Let me just quickly whip through this. Known as a power and immigration district rather than the utility, and has around 1.1 million customers. It additionally supplies water in parts of Metro Phoenix. Okay, none of that really makes any difference to this whatsoever. Amid the current heat wave, SRP announced on Friday it was halting all cutoffs for non-payment for residential and commercial customers through July. Jude Curio joining back up for her 8th month as a legal intern. Thank you very much. And would not disconnect for failure of power in the anyone on its economy price plan for customers with limited income through August. So basically, old lady died. They've brought in rules to make sure that people are not losing their heat and electricity during the hottest and the coldest months. I think that's fair. I mean, it's not as if the debt's going anywhere. Unless someone is completely destitute. I have an idea, don't move to the friggin' desert. I mean, I look at it this way. If someone owns their own home, they've been working or they have social security or whatever, there's no goddamn reason to be shutting off the utilities, because at the very least you're going to get your money back when they die, as bad as that sounds. And if the reason that they die is because you cut off their heating or their cooling during a, what was that, 121 degree day, then fuck you. There was a kid in Iowa who climbed a windmill and fell off. Well, that's just Darwinism. That's what that is. So, okay. So what the hell is this about? Arrest warrant has been issued for the former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan. Pakistan's Electoral Commission has issued a non-bailable arrest warrant for the former Prime Minister Imran Khan, Geo News reports, the latest in a series of legal hurdles facing the cricketer-turned-politician. I thought I knew that name. Khan was arrested in May by Pakistani authorities in connection with a corruption case which sparked deadly unrest across the country. He was released on bail within days. It was not immediately clear what charge the Electoral Commission's order related to and whether police would act on the warrant. Geo did not disclose its source. Khan has faced a multitude of charges in different institutions and courts since his ouster, including graft, murder, and sedition. I'm guessing that's supposed to say ousting. So yeah, this is the sort of shit that you sort of expect. This is, like, I kind of expect this in Pakistan. I don't expect this sort of shit to be going on in the US, which is, like, if you can sort of see the similarities there, the whole Biden going after Trump sort of stuff. This is sort of the area where I expect to see this, not when you look at the US. That's why it was weird as hell to me. Pakistan's former leaders already have a warrant waiting the minute they leave office. I don't doubt that. Have you ever looked into Christopher Nolan's brother, by the way? Maybe a topic for another show, but very interesting. No, I haven't. Hang on. Christopher Nolan's brother. I'm not going to look at it now. I'm just typing it into the thing so I can remember it. Okay. All right. The latest in the string of cases came last week after Pakistan's Interior Minister said the government would open criminal proceedings against Khan on charges of exposing official secrets. What, you mean like how much they were paying themselves? In relation to diplomatic correspondence between the US and Pakistan. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So apparently he's letting secrets out that I'm guessing it probably gave them a bit of a black eye. Nick says, I'm still awake because my cat decided to bath in my bed. Guess when I noticed. Oh.
Khan was arrested. The High Court ruled that his arrest was legal. Now the Supreme Court is ruling that actually, in fact, it was illegal, ordering his immediate release. It was 2 days ago that Pakistan's paramilitary forces smashed their way through the windows of the High Court to arrest the 70-year-old. That led to protests and riots breaking out on the streets of multiple cities across the country, which resulted in the death of at least 10 people and the arrest of around 2,000 people. Imran Khan, the cricketer-turned-politician, was ousted from power in April last year. He was fired upon and injured in a political rally in November, and he now faces numerous corruption charges. He will now spend the night in a police guest house before facing the High Court again tomorrow. Keep in mind, this is the same court that he was arrested at 2 days ago. It is not impossible to imagine he could be arrested again. But this development is just the latest twist in what has been months of political chaos in Pakistan.
Interesting. Okay. Nope. We're not playing something else. I need to talk about this one, which is... Okay, trigger warning on this one, people. A brother is facing life... Sorry. A brother is facing life for murdering and sexually assaulting his sister, 16, in a public park. Holy shitballs. I missed that part. Okay. I knew that he murdered her. I didn't realise that he essayed her. A man faces life in jail after being found guilty of essaying and murdering his teenage sister before posting a chilling tribute on Facebook. Connor Gibson was convicted this afternoon of the fatal attack on his 16-year-old sibling Amber at a park in Hamilton, South Lancashire. A judge warned the 20-year-old that he would pay a heavy price for his actions, which would be branded by both he and a senior detective as depraved. A separate man, Stephen Corrigan, has also been found guilty of attempting to defeat the ends of justice by intimately touching and concealing her body after discovering her in the park. Okay. 1. If this guy is not an accomplice and he did this separately, I can't work out if that's better or worse in my brain. This is fucked up. Okay. Gibson had brought his sister to Cadzo Glen on the night of November 26, 2021, and assaulted her with the intent of raping her before strangling and beating her. The teen was reported missing the same evening. However, her body was not discovered until 2 days later on Sunday, November 28. That's the brother. Yikes! The day before Gibson was arrested on December 1, he had disturbingly posted a tribute on Facebook to his sister, writing, "Fly high and I love you, ginger midget." The chilling tribute, posted on November 30th, read, "Amber, you will fly high for the rest of time. We will all miss you, especially me. I love you, ginger midget. Goodbye for now. Kiss." A search had been made on his phone, meanwhile, for how to get nosy police officers to stop monitoring your phone on the night of Amber's death. Bloodstains compatible with Amber's murder were later found on his jacket, while his DNA was also found on her clothing at the scene. The brother looks so innocent. This is what they're trying to make normal. No. Not if anyone half decent has anything to say about it. Hand this guy over to Taylor Ship Business to change my mind. Bad as it sounds, I feel like this is too good for him. Like, giving him to Ship Business, because the guy in Ship Business had not actually done anything wrong. Like, he was just tripped out. Like, they were just tripping balls. So, honestly, I feel like this guy deserves worse. I'm not going to lie. Probably a pick from when he was like 12, maybe. I mean, maybe we'll see the mugshot. Glasgow High Court heard how Gibson had appeared emotionless on the day Amber's body was found, as he spoke with his and his sister's former foster father, Craig Niven. Giving evidence during the trial, Mr. Niven said that he would not leave the siblings in each other's company because they were not a good mix. Gibson had been living at a homeless hostel in the town at the time of Amber's murder, while she was at a children's home nearby. The two had been seen on CCTV heading towards the park shortly before she was killed, with footage showing Gibson leaving alone a short while later. A phone seized from Gibson's residence following his arrest, meanwhile, revealed messages from his Snapchat account to friends in the early hours of November 27, writing, "I'm really going to need your guys' help with something when yous get back. I'm being serious." A message was then sent to Amber asking, "Are you okay?" before another was sent to previous friends saying, "Never mind, it's all good." Make drawing and quartering great again. Ian Curry, manager of the Hill House Children's Home, told the court, hang on, that's the other thing. If she is underage and she's living at a homeless, like a home for children, where's the responsibility of the people who are supposed to be looking out for her as well? What the hell was she doing out of, I mean, you know, teenagers escape from home all the time, but the guy with your business should have taken the damn Viagra. She only killed him when he went limp. Jesus, Dwayne. I feel like the home need to take a bit of responsibility for this as well. Manager of the home told the court he spoke to Gibson at 9 p.m. on November 26 when he called to speak with his sister, but noted him appearing sharp on the phone after making no greeting. Stephen Corrigan, 45, was convicted of the lesser charge of standing trial alongside Gibson. He's understood to have been unknown to Amber's murderer. It was some random guy that took advantage of the situation after the fact. I cannot for the life of me work out if that's better or worse. Corrigan denied interfering with Amber's body and failing to call emergency services, claiming to have been his father recovering from an arm injury after falling on ice at the time. Corrigan's DNA was found in 39 parts of her body. A fact that he failed to come up with an answer for when probed by detectives. Oh, I bet he was probed. 39 parts of her body. Walking around looking for dead. Following the verdict, a detective in the case said both men's names should be forgotten, with focuses instead kept on Amber. I'd like to actually give them as little thought as possible, to be honest with you, Detective Chief Inspector Paul Livingston said. There's not any other words that spring to mind that I would describe them as other than depraved. I actually think that time should be spent remembering Amber. The senior officer said he hoped the convictions bring some degree of comfort to the people who knew and cared for Amber. The actions of both Corrigan and Gibson leave them both beneath contempt. This was a challenging and complex investigation involving a range of specialist officers from Police Scotland, working closely with our partners in forensic services, all of whom I would pay tribute to for their professionalism and dedication while carrying out their work. This is messed the fuck up. Like, how old they say he was? He's 20. You know what? I want to check something. Okay, because of course Daily Mail have got a much longer article about it. Ah, there we go. That's what he looks like now. There you go. There's the mugshot. So, hope he gets put in a public area in prison. Oh, no. He won't be in Gen Pop. No way in hell do they put him in Gen Pop. Wait, what? May look innocent, but I'm the most sexually active woman slept with 300 people in a year. I'm going to save that for Kinky Corner. Which apparently we may actually be able to do now, people, because apparently Locals finally has StreamYard access, so that should be interesting. Still maintain give him to Taylor. Well, not so innocent anymore. Yeah, no. Okay, so I don't get it. They don't seem like they're that different in age either. I mean, oh, well, it's only 4 years, so what? Yeah, 16 and 20. Yeah, okay. Oh, hang on. Where was the video? Sorry, I know I'm jumping around. There's no audio, so I'm assuming this is him walking back from the park. Yeah, alright. Just very nonchalant about it. No, it was sister. DeVille. It was his sister. Biological sister. Okay, this is boring as shit. Where are we? Oh, okay, so this was him picking her up. No, that's him with a trash bin. I skipped a head too far. Okay, alright, so there's nothing there. Okay, that's fine. We shall move on. But that was weird as hell. Like, what? Why? Not that I'm going to bother opening it up, but for anyone in Florida, so you're aware, a large amount of pot has washed up on Neptune Beach. They said the marijuana washed ashore near Florida Boulevard on Saturday. Officers said the large quantity likely broke open at sea and separated before coming ashore. If anyone starts thinking about coming out and turning this discovery into their own treasure hunt, we would advise against it, said the police on Facebook. The police said the marijuana quickly began to degrade and rot after it floated in the ocean for some time. Officers and members of the public working as teams have cleaned the marijuana off of the beach. So, now someone mentioned driving sports cars earlier. I believe we were talking about Ferraris. Well, a driver has walked away after wedging his Lamborghini Aventador under the trailer of a semi-trailer in a high-speed crash. Look at that. Like, holy crap. The driver of a 2018 Lamborghini Aventador walked away with minor injuries after wedging the car underneath a tractor trailer in a high-speed crash on Saturday. Spencer Hyde, 36, was travelling at a high rate of speed on I-75 in Georgia when he lost control of his Lamborghini and struck the back of an 18-wheeler in the right lane, the Georgia State Police said in a public statement on Gordon Gazette. Hyde's car was trapped underneath the rear of the trailer, causing the closure of 2 lanes on the I-75 for nearly an hour and a half. No other injuries aside from Hyde's were reported. Photos from the Aventador from the scene were published by the Gordon Gazette. Post-extraction show the smashed in front end, but an intact safety cell. That's modern chassis tech for you. Okay. 20 minutes before the crash, the police reportedly issued a bolo on the same highway for the Lamborghini, seen speeding at more than 100 miles an hour. It's unclear if Hyde will face any charges at this time. He's going to face charges. Are you kidding me? Though the state patrol conducted an investigation as the cleanup of the crash continued into the afternoon. Short article, 183 comments on it though. Like, that poor car. Oh my god. Anyway. Got that. Okay. US influencer is working as an emotional support stripper in Ukraine. As you do. An Instagram influencer who shipped out to help Ukraine amid the ongoing bloody war with Russia has found her niche aiding soldiers and volunteers as an emotional support stripper. I should have saved this for Kinky Corner. Why did I not? Fan Pei Kwan of Houston, Texas, created an OnlyFans account that is free for Ukrainian soldiers and volunteers, where she describes herself as a globe-trotting girlfriend and now volunteering in Kharkiv. Oh, okay. So you've wussed out, you haven't actually gone over there, you're just making your content free. Yeah, this is all about advertising. Happens to exotic cars all the time. Used to drive my 911 on the I-75 daily. The owner's a jerk. He ruined art. Sure, the Ukrainians are glad for it. Look, they probably are. But, you know. The 33-year-old bombshell will be the judge of that, whose content includes videos of strip teasers as air raid sirens blare and shirtless photos with rocket launchers, based, does everything from free emotional breastfeeding to what the fuck? Okay. Free emotional breastfeeding to soldiers and volunteers to distributing cash donations to Ukrainians and volunteers, according to her OnlyFans profile, which states proceeds go towards humanitarian efforts. I'm not sure if I want to keep scrolling. I'm the sexy girl in Ukraine who wants to volunteer and will probably put out, she told the Daily Beast. Oh my god. I want to be like her when I grow up. Her sacrifice is great. Oh, you know, there was nip there. I'm moving on. Okay. I'm not... What the hell? Megan Fox ripped for asking fans to donate to Pal's GoFundMe despite being rich as fuck. Yeah, Megan, you want to help a friend, you go and pay for it yourself. Am I the only one that feels like this is more CCP propaganda than it is helping the Ukrainians? Like, I can see just, like... I can see this photoshopped on, like, a red flag and shit like that. They can have her. The Miss 2015 Taiwanese American pageant competitor first headed to Ukraine in November 22. Oh, so she actually did go. To volunteer and assist refugees working at women's shelters and orphanages in Lviv. Now I just sound like, anyway. A city in the western part of the country, far from the front lines. The work, however, wasn't all that different from her job experiences back home, which pushed her to look into assisting the military directly. She also won first prize in the NASA Space Health Challenge in 2014. Moved to Ukraine full-time in February. She's... Okay, I take it back. She's actually there. That's astounding. Age 33 hasn't been that good to her. She's still assisted in the volunteered in the volatile eastern Donbass region by bringing water to those still living in bombed-out towns and offering emotional support to English-speaking soldiers while she learns Ukrainian. It's a little soft-core diplomacy I'm bringing, she told the Post. Everyone's sending their strongest and finest. I wandered in and was like, hey, what's up? Want to talk? I'll give you a massage. As you do. Might be a second. Oh, no shit. Okay. Not going to out them or anything, but I've just received a message that one of our long-time viewers has been in a reasonably nasty car accident. So they're not currently watching, but I'll say it anyway. Best wishes and hope that you get things sorted out soon. I understand you're already lawyered up, so good on you. And yeah, keep me posted. Okay, where was I? Through her volunteer work on the ground, she struck up various romantic relationships with the men she's met and is currently dating a Ukrainian drone operator, a power plant worker, and 2 information technology workers. I'm sorry, what? That's not dating, sweetheart. Just saying. International soldiers are also on the table. She struck up a relationship with a fighter from the United Kingdom who'd been a member of a group of soldiers she comforted when they suffered casualties in Donbass. I'm there talking with him for 6 hours about how he's coping, his relationship issues. I feel so safe with this guy, she told the Daily Beast. At some point, I was holding him, stroking his hair, and he said, I feel precious like a kitten. I haven't been touched in 2 years. Me love you long time. Her raunchy activities haven't been warmly received by everyone, with some Western volunteers in the group chat blasting her for joking about looking for a good time with Ukrainian men. These guys just tore me for 3 days straight, she told the Daily Beast. Phrasing! Softcore diplomacy, come on, it's almost bare naked propaganda. I think there's a couple 100 people in this group. They said you want to make porn off mass graves. Oh, that's a bit rough. She still believes she's providing a vital service to soldiers that's often overlooked. People don't talk about the sexual needs of the people of country at war. She said with a laugh. Think about that one part of you that needs to have a person to confide in. I just try to do that for everyone who speaks English or Ukrainian at a 3-year-old level. Yes, Mandy. And you obviously weren't watching, but yep. Message received. Look after yourself, okay? When you fuck multiple dudes, they fight over you. Yeah, who's shocked? Who is shocked by that? Not even me. Not me in even the slightest. Okay. A Chino Hills man has been arrested for creating a fake fire department and posing as a firefighter. I'm sorry, what? The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department arrested a Chino Hills man for creating a fake fire department and posing as a firefighter. Deputies arrested 42-year-old Andrew DeBoer on July 20. DeBoer allegedly went to great lengths to carry out his con. During a search of his home, investigators recovered a fire investigation identification card, badges, decals, uniforms with patches for the Santa Muerte Fire Department, which is not real. They also found firearms, soft body armor, and a duty belt. Maybe he was just really sick and tired of the response time of the actual firefighters and he wanted to start up a community one. Don't think they care about her linguistic expertise. Well, there is that. While scouring through his home, deputies seized a Ford F-350 with Californian exempt license plates, emergency lights, and fire decals on the front hood and rear tailgate. The suspect seems to have taken further steps to solidify his cover. If you Google the fire department, an operational website for the non-existent agency appears. Many of the links to the homepage redirect to legitimate agencies. However, the Contact Us page lists an address that belongs to a shopping centre containing a UPS store and hair salon in El Centro. The fictitious fire department also has a LinkedIn page with a post featuring a photo that seems to be an altered picture of the U.S. Forest Service firefighter. Did it have truck nuts? God, I hope not. SBSD first learned of DeBoer 9 days after his arrest when the Chino Hills resident reported an odd encounter with a firefighter. Excuse me. On July 11, a victim called authorities after they were pulled over by a man posing as a law enforcement officer driving a white Ford truck with fire decals, according to the fire department. Okay, this guy's just nuts. Not only is he posing as a firefighter, he's posing as a police officer. Gotcha. See, here I was thinking maybe, just maybe, it was that he was just trying to set up like a private firefighting firm, which, to be fair, they could use all the assistance they can get. Texas is the land of truck nuts. Is it just? Huh. During the traffic stop, he posed as an arson investigator, fully decked out in the duty belt with a firearm, Santa Muerte Fire Department badge, baton, pepper spray, and handcuffs. Yeah, he just looks nuts. The 41-year-old was booked for false imprisonment and impersonating an officer. Investigators believe that he may have victimized others in San Bernardino, Riverside, Los Angeles, and Orange County. Anyone with information regarding the incident is urged to call the Chino Hills Police Department. Callers wishing to remain anonymous may contact the WeTip hotline. WeTip. Don't remember where it was, but a guy I read about did this once and pulled over an off-duty police officer. Yeah, that seems to be the way that they get caught, is they try and pull over police officers. There was a bunch of kids that were doing it down south our way for a little while there, and basically, I mean, to be fair, you'd have to be a dumbass to fall for it, but what they were doing was there was an app that you could get that would make an iPad flash red and blue, and they were sitting that on the dashboard and basically pulling people over. Like, they were just having shits and giggles, because they'd pull people over, just sit there, wouldn't get out of the car, and then just drive off. And that was all well and good, right up until they pulled over an off-duty cop. Surprised he was arrested at all in the land of no laws. Well, where are we? Just close off some of these just for a second so that I know that I am making my way through things. Okay. Okay, this is quick, however it does have a trigger warning attached because we are talking about another death of a child, unfortunately. Lauren Dickerson, the mum explains why she smothered one of her twins first before killing her other two children. A mother who smothered 3 of her children told police she killed one of her twins first because she was the worst behaved, a court has heard. Lauren Dickerson, 42, is on trial in the High Court in Christchurch, charged with murdering her daughters, Leanne, 6, and twins Maya and Carla, both 2. The girls were found dead at their home in Tiamaru on New Zealand's South Island on September 16, 2021, by their father Graham Dickerson after he returned home from a work function. Dickerson has admitted to killing her children but denies it was murder when the defence claims she was not guilty by reason of insanity. I was going to make a business joke and I'm not. I can't do it. I can't link the two. In court on Tuesday, a video recording of an interview with detectives was played in which she said she had not felt normal for months before, saying that something just snapped. Yeah, sure, try for the... Oh, God, it's an adorable family too. She's just going for the... She's pushing for postpartum depression, I would say, as part of the argument. That's not okay. Dickerson told police that she started by killing Carla too because she was being the worst behaved at the time. I did the twins first. The first one was being really, really horrible to me lately. She'd been biting me and hitting me and scratching and throwing tantrums 24/7. And I just don't know how to manage that. That's why I did her first. Damn. The officer who conducted the interview told the court that she was polite and articulate and willingly engaged with the police throughout the questioning. During the interview, she described her move from South Africa to New Zealand as overwhelming and said she had lost hope. I don't even know where to start. It's just got too overwhelming. And with the new visa thing that came through yesterday, I just see no hope for us here in the future, she said during an interview. Just getting on the aeroplane was an effort enough. There was so much paperwork to be done, and there was 2 weeks in MIQ, which almost had us crazy. Something just snapped last night. On the night of the alleged triple murder, Dickerson smothered the girls around 20 minutes after her husband left for a work function. She explained that the children were jumping on the couches and not listening to what she was telling them, so she went to the garage, spotted some cable ties, and thought that could possibly work. Oh no, my heart's going to break. In the interview, she told police, "I have been thinking about it for sure. Last night something just triggered me, so she put them all together in a room before using cable ties on them. However, that attempt was unsuccessful, so she suffocated them." Dickerson told police that she then tucked each of them into their beds, pulling the blankets over their heads, fully aware that they were dead. Then I decided I had to do something with myself, and I ran around the house and none of the knives were sharp, and then I just started drinking my medication that I could find. I wanted to die. Dickerson explained that in the lead up to the alleged triple murder, she had been getting only 2 hours of sleep a night, was losing many kilos due to stress, and had not felt normal for around 9 or 10 weeks before the incident, and moving to New Zealand had only exacerbated the issues. She described the day that she killed the girls as her first day off in 4 months, telling police after killing them, she just climbed into bed with a hot water bottle and processed everything that had happened. Okay, I'm going to say two things. Not that I'm in any way, providing any sort of sympathy to this bitch. Because you could have taken yourself out first. If you'd intended to kill yourself anyway, you could have just done you and not ended the lives of 3 little angels. But people, if you notice that anyone is struggling with dealing with children or anything like that, reach out. If you yourself are struggling, there are support services, and in particular, make sure you talk to your partner, because there hasn't been anything about what the husband has said in all of this, but if he didn't know, he's going to be absolutely... Anyway, absolutely seek help. And there goes the demonetization. Oh well. Oh well, if I'm going to clip it, I might as well do that right before I say that. So. In the interview, Dickerson said that she'd been diagnosed with major depressive disorder in 2015, had postnatal depression after the birth of her oldest daughter, and then the twins, and had been medicated for years before stopping in early 2021. Why? Why did you stop? Who determined that it was appropriate for you to stop? If you were still having these feelings, why did you not immediately go running to your medical practitioner? She also admitted to having thoughts of harming her kids in the past, and had told her husband on 3 occasions that she was scared that as she considered hurting their children. Throughout the video interview being played in court, Dickerson sat with her head in her hands. Earlier in the trial, the jury heard Dickerson had carried out several searches regarding how to overdose children and what the lethal or fatal qualities of specific drugs were for kids. Last week, Crown Prosecutor Andrew McRae alleged that Dickerson was an angry and frustrated woman who resented her children for standing in her way of a relationship with her husband. Mr. McRae alleges that she was fully aware of what she was doing and described the killings as methodical, purposeful, and perhaps clinical. The defense, however, argues that she was very unwell and didn't recognise how unwell she was until it was too late. The trial will resume on Wednesday and is expected to run for at least another 2 weeks, with experts to speak on whether they believe she was insane. Nope, I'm not going to start yelling. Because if I start, I won't stop, and we've still got a bit to do. Oh, here we go. Here's the other car story. Man arrested after allegedly breaking into a Ferrari dealership and taking a $600,000 vehicle. A man allegedly told police that he decided after a day of drinking to take a vehicle from the Ferrari dealership in Salt Lake City. Thank you for the super chat, Caitlin, for saying what we're all thinking. Yeah. No, New Zealand does not have the death penalty, to my knowledge. Alright, day of drinking, decided to take a vehicle from the Ferrari dealership in Salt Lake City, then hit 4 other cars while he was trying to leave. Michael Martinez, 29, was arrested on Sunday night for investigation of 3 counts of property damage, theft, and burglary. According to a police booking affidavit, Martinez broke into the Ferrari dealership on 543rd South Street, I'm assuming that's the street, by using a rock to break the building's exterior glass. He then opened a car door, saw the keys in the center console, the affidavit states. Booking documents do not say what kind of car he got in, but the police estimated that it was worth about $600,000. Martinez started the car, hit the interior glass, 4 other vehicles, and the exterior doors on his way out with the vehicle, according to the affidavit. Police say other vehicles sustained an estimated $100,000 in damage. Utah Highway Patrol troopers spotted Martinez walking away from the vehicle near the I-215 and State Street exit. When taken into custody, allegedly stated that it was a spur-of-the-moment act after a day of drinking. Well, to be fair, what kind of story doesn't start with, hold my beer? He is lucky to be alive. What was this one? Oh, guys, I should probably take this as a second, given that there's potentially new people watching. Please remember, if you have enjoyed the content, if you do think that I'm entertaining, then by all means, remember to hit that like button, double check whether or not you're still subscribed, because let's face it, YouTube is asshole, and they have unsubscribed like 100 people in the last week. Also, please remember that as of December, if you haven't logged into an account for 2 years, Google will be deleting accounts. So, you know, just double check whether or not you're subscribed, hit the bell, make sure you change the notifications from personalized to all. Keep in mind that will be for my channel only. That is not for across YouTube. It does not mean that you'll receive 200 different notifications. That is purely just for my channel. Because, yeah, the notifications almost never come through. But anyway. US student is suing over suspension for posting memes making fun of the principal. A Tennessee student is suing his school district after he was suspended for posting memes making fun of his principal. The 17-year-old student shared 3 memes that he made and published online with the principal's face cut out on different backgrounds. One meme showed the principal as a cat in a French maid's outfit. The stunt resulted in a 3-day out-of-school suspension for the student. But the Toloma High School student and his advocates called the punishment a violation of his First Amendment, the constitutional right to free speech. I demand the right to make my principal look like a cat maid. With the support of the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, FIRE, he recently filed a lawsuit demanding the removal of the suspension from his record and a halt to the policy that led to the punishment. The brewing case could be the latest to test the concept of free speech in schools. In a landmark 1969 decision, the United States Supreme Court ruled in a case titled Tinker v. Des Moines that students do not shed their constitutional rights to freedom of speech or expression at the schoolhouse gate. Yet schools are generally understood to have the right to enforce reasonable rules which aim to limit disruptions on campus. Yeah, and this is one of several that have been recent. I mean, I'm still following the case of the kid that wore the shirt to school that said there are only 2 genders, and that he basically, I can't remember if he got kicked out of school or if he got kicked out of school. We're still following that case in the court to see exactly where that winds out. Free speech in school, never heard of that personally. Well, bit much to suspend him for a funny cartoon. Yeah, I mean, look, if it's not like if the cat maid was bending over and showing knickers or something like that, maybe, given that it might be considered pornographic or whatever. Did he act outside of school? The school doesn't own you when you aren't there. That's actually a good point as well. Oh, hang on. Do we have access to the complaint? We have access to the complaint. Excellent. In a complaint filed on 19 July, FIRE asserted that high schools cannot punish a student for satirizing a principal on social media when the satire occurs off campus and does not cause substantial disruption to the school, so he posted outside school hours. A principal's pride is not an exception to the First Amendment, the complaint stated. Lead attorney Connor Fitzpatrick told The Guardian, one of the main things we're trying to do here is cement the rights of American students. Please tell me they've included the memes as examples in the complaint. One of the main things we're trying to do here is cement the rights of American students to express themselves on social media without fear of censorship, as long as what they're expressing doesn't disrupt the school day. The school has no business jumping in and acting as a censor. If something they post might be inappropriate, that's a matter for their parents, not the government. Meanwhile, the high school maintains a social media policy which prohibits students from posting images that embarrass, humiliate, or discredit staff members or other students. Fuck right off. The school doesn't own you when you're there. No, they do not. A cool principal would have laughed it off. Yeah. Policy reads, participation in activities, groups, and teams is a privilege at the high school. Wait, what? So they restrict the freedom of association as well? Interesting. Using social media by a student unbecoming of a wildcat may result in discipline, including suspension or removal from an activity, group, leadership position, or team. Fire countered that the policy, which refers to the wildcats nicknamed by Tullahoma's... Tullahoma? Yeah, it's Tullahoma. School teams is vague and unconstitutional. The student plaintiff argues that his memes, which were posted while off campus, did not cause any disruption at his school, and he intended for them to be interpreted as satire, which is a constitutionally protected form of free speech. The city schools did not immediately respond for a comment. I wonder why. Schools try to overreach all the time. Got in trouble for giving a racist redneck bus driver the bird in my yard. I'm sorry, what? You were at home in your own yard? That's some bullshit. State actions that infringe on the kids' rights? Yeah. Alright, let's have a look at this complaint. Because I'm curious. Hang on, where's the... No, I want the document. I don't just want this... That's a... Okay, there's the complaint. How do I full screen this? Ooh, it's 48 pages. We're not going to go through the whole of it. Especially given that I can't just... Can I save the document? Oh, they included the memes. Excellent. Psychedelic doll. Wasting this because I can't think of anything funny to say. No worries. Enjoy your membership chat. Okay, here we go. Alright, United States District Court, Eastern District of Tennessee, Winchester Division. Verified complaint for civil rights violations. Introduction. They're not even that bad in terms of memes. Are you serious? Case about a thin-skinned high school principal defying the First Amendment and suspending a student for lampooning the principal on the student's Instagram page, even though the post caused no disruption at school. Plaintiff IP posted 3 images about his Tullahoma High School principal, defendant Jason Quick. One showed Quick holding a box of vegetables, another, which IP merely reposted, showed Quick in a dress with cat ears and whiskers, and the third showed Quick's face on a video game character being hugged by a cartoon bird. That's not a video game, that's from a show on Cartoon Network, but anyway. He says that he intended the images to be satire in IP's view. Quick's overly serious demeanour. IP posted each image from his own device, off campus, and on his own time. Just for the hell of it? There we go, Jason. It's now public knowledge, and it is now shared on my channel. Congratulations. None of this is even remotely, like... There's nothing wrong with these. Literally, one says, my brother, oh God, like a sister but not a sister, because he's showing a box of whatever. Yes, they've got him as a cat maid. And it's literally, Jason, don't leave me? What, was he stepping down as principal or something? Seriously, that's who I want as director of my kid's school. Rated for everyone, not even PG-13. Yeah, exactly. Infringing on the First Amendment right over these gross civil rights violation, waiting on the ACLU. We won't see shit from the ACLU. The ACLU is far from the times from when they actually did anything for... I think the white drawing is an Among Us character. Oh yeah, could be. Kid should have been suspended for posting such weak memes. Okay. The First Amendment bars public school employees from acting as a round-the-clock board of censors over student expression. The Supreme Court has been clear, unless a student's off-campus expression causes substantial disruption at school, the job of policing their free their speech falls to parents, not the government. And courts must be more skeptical of a school's efforts to regulate off-campus speech, for doing so may mean that the student cannot engage in any kind of speech at all. Here, Quick tried to ensure students could not satirize him at all. But IP, like every American, has a First Amendment right to satirize or criticize government officials without fear of retribution, so long as he does not does not do that in a way that substantially disrupt or threaten to substantially disrupt the school. Indeed, from the early cartoon portraying George Washington as an ass down to the present day. What? Early cartoon portraying George Washington as an ass down to the present day satirical cartoons have played a prominent role in American expression. Hustler magazine v. Forwell. It never gets old reading that citation. Kid has a right to do what he wants. Look, he is better off away from the principal, but he should not have the suspension listed on his permanent record as a result of this. That's why this is pretty damn pathetic. To suspend IP, Quick relied on a high school policy prohibiting students, whether at home or at school, from posting pictures that result in the embarrassment, demeaning, or discrediting of any student or staff, regardless of whether the picture substantially disrupts the school day. That policy is squarely unconstitutional under Mahoney, and so is IP suspension. The high school also prohibits students from engaging in social media activity unbecoming of a wildcat. Because this vague policy fails to provide citizens sufficient guidance to inform them how to stay within the law, it is equally unconstitutional. Suspension equals vacation. He probably had a good 3 days playing, like, Fortnite or something, I don't know. Depending. Oh, wait, he's 17, so... Quick's status as IP's principal does not allow him to override IP's First Amendment rights. IP brings his lawsuit to protect the core First Amendment right of the Tullahoma students to express themselves and satirize those in power. Alright, so we got... we won't really worry about the factual allegations. Just make sure that there's nothing else that was included in there. I mean, because the thing we've always got to remember, people, is that things like the initial complaint, are always severely one-sided. So, we don't know. Maybe underneath it he commented that, that he was a fuckwit, or maybe he posted something during school or whatever else. You still have to give the principal the benefit of the doubt, at least until the defense is given. But in this, I think he's just a fuckwit. So, me and the principal, he get 3 days off, pretty much. I don't understand why this is... The photo was originally posted by Quick to his own social media account. Another poster added text, "My brother," to the image. IP saved that post and added the text, "Like a sister but not a sister," to suggest a close friendship between IP and Quick, and to provide a humorous contrast to his overly serious demeanour towards him and other students. IP added text "Oh God" on the image, an informal phrase intended to signify the speaker's firm belief in a message. On June 9, during a family vacation in Italy, he reposted an image created by another user to his personal Instagram, showing Quick as an anime cat with whiskers, cat ears, and wearing a dress. The image included the text "Nico Quick" because Nico means cat in Japanese. Nico, however you want to pronounce it. Send the kids to school wearing FJB shirts and red hats, then sue when they're expelled. Well, yes, he is just an ass. And I'm sorry, if the kid's on holiday in Italy, I don't give a shit. The school has no jurisdiction whatsoever. Image includes the text "Neko Quick," got that. Image includes the text "Nya," because Nya is an onomatopoeia used in the anime for the sound of a cat meowing. The fact that they had to explain that in a sentence in a legal proceeding document, that's hilarious. IP reposted the image to provide a satirical commentary on his desire to be seen by students as serious and a professional administrator. It was Among Us, okay. On August 2, 2022, while at home following his second day of school, he posted an image to his personal Instagram account showing Quick's head superimposed on a hand-drawn cartoon meant to resemble a character from the online game Among Us. I stand corrected. I've never actually played Among Us, so had no clue. The image also shows a cartoon bird named Mordecai from Cartoon Network's series Regular Show clinging onto Quick's leg. Yeah, okay. IP included the text "No, Jason, don't leave me," to imply Quick had a relationship with the cartoon bird, again providing a satirical commentary on Quick's desire to be seen by students as a serious and professional academic administrator. He posted or reposted 3 images on his own time, outside school hours, not on school property, and without any connection to school-sponsored events. IP posted or reposted the images from his personal mobile phone, a device not owned or controlled by the school district. Okay, case closed. He can fuck right off. The best thing you can do is sue for defamation then. Sue him privately, outside of the school. Do not punish him whatsoever because it's not a school issue. It's a personal issue between you and the student. So no, get fucked. Case is over and done and dusted. Irrespective of whatever else. IP did not tag using the @ symbol to communicate with or call attention to a specific account, or the school or the post, otherwise take any action to make quick or the school aware of the images. IP is not aware of any material disorder, substantial disruption, or invasion to the rights of others that related to the posts. The high school did not experience material disruption or substantial disorder due to the Instagram posts, nor did IP's posts invade the rights of others. So that's the policy. Any student who records or disseminates in any manner unauthorized or misrepresented photographs, video, or recording for the purpose of embarrassment, demeaning, or discrediting the reputation of any student or staff, or that results in an embarrassment, demeaning, or discrediting of any... I can understand why they have this policy in relation to other students. Staff members should not be included in this because staff members are government employees. Like if students record an embarrassing embarrassing video for the purpose of bullying another student, I can understand that as a policy. Staff should not be anywhere in this policy. Would never send my kid to any college now. Oh. Sounds like the kid's a bit of a handful and the principal targeting him. Quite possibly. Principal's using state action to injure the kid. Therefore, how does the kid not have standing? Well, of course the kid's got standing. That's what I'm saying. No, so I should specify. Case closed. I believe that this is a no-brainer. The kid should win, and then if there's an issue, the principal should be taking the kid for defamation externally and separate to it. Oh, your kid's got standing to sue the school. It was an action by a government employee in relation to something utilising a school policy. Any student violating the policy's restrictions may have the device confiscated and be subject to disciplinary action. No, fuck off. You do not have the right to confiscate. Handbook provides no guidance for students or parents regarding what constitutes material, embarrassing, demeaning, or discrediting the reputation of another. School district did not provide IP or his parents with guidance or instruction on what constitutes it. Upon information and belief, the school district provides administrators, teachers, and staff with no guidance. Handbook provides participation in activities, groups, and teams as a privilege. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's all just what's included in the handbook. He was suspended for 3 days over the Instagram posts. Oh! And the poor kid had a panic attack after learning of his suspension. He's receiving medical treatment for clinical depression and anxiety. At all times relevant to this complaint, Quick and Crutchfield knew or should have known that he was diagnosed with clinical depression and anxiety. Yeah, so the eggshell skull rule applies. At all times relevant to this complaint, he had an active 504 plan with the school district detailing IP's accommodations. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. No worries. Thank you very much for this super chat. My apologies if I was not clear in what I said. Confiscate so they can look through the phone. What the fuck? Yeah, and this actually raises something else because, I mean, it was a Reddit post, so you can take it with a grain of salt. But there was a legal advice post that I see pop up in videos every now and then, and I have read the original on Reddit at some point. I just can't remember where it is. A school wanted to confiscate a student's electronics and have his family provide the school with access to all of his emails, Facebook Messenger, Snapchat, all that sort of stuff, because another individual had been bullied and they wanted to see whether or not his conversations with the individual provided any detail as to who the bullies were and what was involved. Like, that was ridiculous. And absolutely in no way whatsoever should the family be handing over any of that information. It is none of the school's goddamn business what a third-party conversation is. It was a total invasion of privacy. Had my tape player confiscated, never returned by the damn principal. I used it for lectures. Oh yeah, it was absolutely time for a lawyer. And that was basically it. Because, I mean, I think even at the time I might have commented on it and just said, yeah, it's definitely time to lawyer up. Seeing IP's physical symptoms worsening. Okay, so after he was informed of the suspension, he became visibly upset and started panicking about how the suspension would affect his future and his standing at the high school. He experienced sweating, shortness of breath, and loss of feeling in both arms. Crutchfield asked IP if he was okay. Having trouble speaking, he mumbled, "I can't feel my arms." Crutchfield asked front office personnel whether the school nurse was still on campus. Wait, am I still here or am I? Yep, okay. Sun School wanted to confiscate his phone. I told him to get bent. As well you should. As well you always should. Okay. IP asked about BP's whereabouts, where she typically meets IP after school. Okay, so where was his mother's whereabouts? IP could not answer because of his poor physical and mental state. He called BP to tell her she needed to come to the front office. When she asked why, she said that it related to an issue about social media. When BP arrived, Crutchfield was in front of his private office and walked towards BP. IP, still in his office, slumped over in the chair with Scott crouching next to IP trying to calm him down. He was sweating, gagging, flushed, and having trouble breathing. He had dilated eyes and his hand was in a claw-like position. Jesus Christ, this kid why have you not contacted medical professionals at this point? Where the fuck is a school nurse? Holy shitballs. BP attempted to engage with IP, for example, asking whether IP could hear her. He was unresponsive. BP called the doctor's office, which advised them to take him to the emergency room if his condition did not improve. BP also called IP's mental health counsellor and crisis mobile response line. He regained some function, and BP helped him take a short-acting anxiety medication. With IP still unable to walk, she requested a wheelchair. BP and Crutchfield, who had returned to his office, helped IP into a wheelchair, and BP wheeled IP to her car with the intention of taking IP to an emergency room. His condition slowly improved, and so she took him home. Quick and Crutchfield knew or had reason to know that suspending IP for non-disruptive satirical Instagram posts would cause IP emotional distress. Upon information and belief, Quick intended to cause IP emotional distress to deter IP from satirising Quick going forward. Quick and Crutchfield caused IP emotional distress by suspending him for non-disruptive satirical Instagram posts. What the... School confirmed that he was suspended because of the posts. Injury to the plaintiff. He was injured by suspending him for engaging in protected First Amendment expression. Injuries are ongoing because suspension is part of his permanent record. And will likely impair his... Yep, that's spelled right. His ability to receive scholarships, gain admission to top colleges and universities because school assess applicants' academic and disciplinary records. IP's injuries also continue but for the defendant's interpretation of the social media policy as prohibiting posting non-disruptive images criticizing school officials, IP would continue to post non-disruptive online content satirizing school officials. So he'd keep making memes. Absolutely. Always fight for your kids. It's the same thing that I say to my siblings because they're still young enough, and I will say it to my daughter when she is old enough. I will have your back 100% if anything happens at school, so as long as you 100% tell me the truth. Because as soon as they lie to me and I can't work with and I get blindsided or anything like that, my credibility goes out the window. That doesn't mean you're not going to get in trouble when we get home, but it means that I will have your back 100% with the school. IP has had his speech chilled due to the defendant's actions. IP and the high school students are in imminent danger of direct injury from the social media policy because they wish to use social media to engage in protected First Amendment expression. IP and other students wish to create and post non-disruptive content to social media which may criticize or satirize other school officials. IP and other students are at risk of discipline for sharing such content, chilling their core protected speech. Okay, so we've got the various claims. I want to know what's in the prayer for relief. And then I might actually get out of here, I think. Parents always told me that in school I'm 50. Well, there you go. Went too far. Prayer for relief. Okay, respectfully request the court enter judgment against the defendants. I believe that we actually have various bits and pieces of the exhibits as well. So we'll have a look at that. Enter a preliminary and permanent injunction enjoining the school district from enforcing the social media policy and the Wildcat policy. Declare the school district's social media policy and Wildcat policy in violation of the First and 14th Amendments. Enter a preliminary and permanent injunction expunging IP's August 2022 suspension. Declare that defendant's August 2022 suspension violated the First and 14th Amendments. Award IP compensatory, nominal, and punitive damages. Award IP attorney's fees under Title 42, Section 1988. Award IP as costs, and award such other relief as the court deems fit. Verification. Oh, okay, so it's the policy. Okay, so nothing actually of interest there. So there we go. Why aren't cameras in class? Because then teachers would be held accountable. I've been of two minds when it comes to the idea of having cameras in class. A, invasion of children's privacy. B, it holds teachers to a relative standard, and honestly, I believe would stop a whole heap of shit that goes on. Teachers physically assaulting students, or catching students physically assaulting each other, that sort of thing. Weighing that up, I still don't know where I sit on it. I'll be perfectly honest. But oh, I really wanted to cover that too, though. Hang on. Alright. What do we want to close out with, people? Do we want California and their beavers using to help with water issues and wildfires? US beach becoming an orgy of sex, drugs, vandalism, and underage sex? Rangers warn. Or Texas father smashes a windshield to save a crying baby from a scorching car? What do we think? Where do we want to go? I think there's privacy laws in the US that stop it, but it doesn't stop them from being all over the hallways. Why are Bluey episodes so short? Mainly because it's difficult to pack so much awesome into a longer period, really. Save the baby? Okay. Alright, save baby. A Texas father has smashed a windshield to save a crying baby from a scorching car as heat waves continue to swelter in the US. Pulse-pounding footage shows the moment that a forgotten baby was saved from a scorching car in the US earlier this week, as meteorologists warn the heat wave has been baking the states all summer will only get worse. A crowd can be seen in the video surrounding a vehicle as people work to smash the windshield and save the baby that's been forgotten inside on a day of heat index that topped 37 degrees Celsius. Damn! And beavers. Okay, we can cover the beavers too. It's not that funny though, it's just about beavers. What's so funny about beavers? It's not like Brenda shaved her beaver. Oh wait, yes she did, and we read that story. Which reminds me, people, make sure that you tune in on Thursday, if you're awake, Friday evening for the Aussies, for the latest edition of the After Party. We will be watching Game 2 of the Lingerie Football League, and it will be sort of a bon voyage, so there will be various people dropping in and out. I know that it is quite late, given that it literally starts after Rekieta finishes, roughly. But, yeah, if you've got an alarm set, then have fun. Okay. A bystander filmed the stunning rescue in the car park of a petrol station in Harlingen, a city in the southernmost point of Texas. Footage shows the windscreen being broken, and they were able to gain access to the vehicle where a woman lifted the child to someone outside the car. Okay. If this is a newborn baby, or relatively recent, it may well be, because, as embarrassing as it is, parents forget that they have kids, because they're not used to them yet. This kid, however, doesn't look like it's a newborn. I think this may be... Okay. audio. Smashing windshield, smashing windshield. Rescuers had to act quickly as the temperatures in the day were over 40 degrees Celsius. Hang on, hang on. How is that happening? Oh, they must have smashed the side window. Wait, wouldn't you just get in the car then? Why did they have to smash the windshield? Okay, and that's a snake in a toilet, but that's neither here nor there. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would you smash the windshield? Wouldn't you smash the driver's side or the passenger side door that was around and like open the car door? Like, why the windshield? There were ladies to impress. Footage shows the windshield being broken to gain access to the vehicle, where a woman lifted the car to someone outside the car. I'm confused. Was there someone inside the car then? Why not just open the door? Not immediately clear how long the baby had been left inside the car. The terrifying ordeal comes as a heatwave continues to move throughout the southwestern regions of the US. Yippee! Let's break the hardest window, more drama. Exactly. Well, no, because theoretically, Barton, you could actually, you do it at the angle of whichever way is away. It's Texas, we do everything bigger. Fair enough. Potential heat wave that's stemming from the heat has been plaguing the southwest, some of the west for much of this July, said meteorologist Cody Broad. Big area of high pressure is finally going to start expanding throughout to the east this week. As the high pressure system moves, steamy temperatures in the mid to upper 30s will hit central and eastern states, including New York. Damn. Some 250 million Americans will be experiencing sweltering conditions in the upper air patterns shift, forcing the dangerous heat and humidity up the east coast, meteorologists with the Fox Forecast Center predict. Okay, that's just talking about the weather. I was more interested in saving the baby, so. Yes, Matsuri is going to be very hot. And unfortunately, I have listened to Nick and gone and got some short shorts. But when I say short shorts, I mean like footy shorts, not like Nick's level of short shorts. So there is that. Okay, hang on. Where's the beavers? Okay. So California aims to tap beavers. This will be the last one because I really do need to get stuff sorted. Once viewed as a nuisance to help with water issues and wildfires. For years, beavers have been treated as an annoyance, from chewing down trees and shrubs to blocking up streams, leading to flooding in neighbourhoods and farms. But the animal is increasingly being seen as nature's helper in the midst of climate change. California recently changed its tune and is embracing the animals that can create lush habitats to lure species back to known urban areas, enhance groundwater supplies, and buffer against the threat of wildfires. The new policy that went into effect last month encourages landowners and agencies dealing with beaver damage to seek solutions, such as putting out flow devices in streams or protective wrap on trees before seeking permission from the state to kill the animals. The state is also running pilot projects to relocate beavers to places where they would be more beneficial. The aim is to preserve more beavers along with their nature-friendly behaviour. There's been a major paradigm shift throughout the West where people who have really transitioned from viewing beavers strictly as nuisance species to recognising them for their ecological benefits that they have, said Valerie Cook, Beaver Restoration Program Manager for California Fish and Wildlife. You know where my mind went, people. The program was funded by Governor Gavin Newsom's administration last year. The push follows similar efforts in other western states, including Washington, which have a pilot beaver relocation program. We've got to get that beaver out of there. Oh my god, I just realised. I know why they're moving all the beavers out of California. Ever watched the series Crimes That Shocked Australia? Not offhand. It sounds familiar, but I mean, there's that many of them, honestly. Marks a new chapter for Californians' lengthy history with the animals, which experts say used to be everywhere, but after years of trapping, attempts at reintroduction, and then removal under depredation permits, are found in much smaller numbers than they once were, largely in the Central Valley and northern part of the state. It is unknown how many beavers live in California, just look at the last census data, but anyway. But hundreds of permits are sought by landowners each year that are typically allowed to kill the animals. According to the state's Department of Fish and Wildlife, the beaver population in North America used to range from 100 million to 200 million, but now totals between 10 and 15 million. Kate Lundquist, director of the Water Institute at the Occidental Arts and Ecology Center, said she expects California's changes will lead to fewer beavers killed in the state and growth in wetland spaces. The beavers are getting wet. I said it. She said she believes the past 3 years of drought and devastating wildfires contributed to the state's shift on beavers. There's been increased motivation to identify and fund the implementation of nature-based climate-smart solutions. Beaver restoration is just. What happened with the found kidnapped baby stolen while camping with parents? I'm not aware of that one. Don't get the story, they have this about 5 times a year in Texas. Huh. Same people who gave you the bee fish. This is true. This is very true. Been increased motivation to identify the implementation. Yep. Beavers live in family units and quickly build dams on streams, creating ponds. The pools help slow the flow of water, replenishing groundwater supplies, and can also stall the spread of wildfires, a critical issue for the state, plagued by fires over recent years, said Emily Fairfax, Professor of Environmental Science and Management at California State University in the Channel Islands. Heard beavers can actually help with some problems. Yes, beavers are good. We love beavers on this channel. Shit, I'm missing a clip. Hang on. 1 second.
Hey, Jessica. How's your beaver?
Good.
Great. How's your beaver? Busy as ever.
Say what you want about the show. It's hilarious.
The beaver.
It gets a hell of a lot of flack, but the sparkles bits were quite funny.
Is the official animal of Canada. It's their national mascot.
It's a noble creature.
Okay, girls, everyone knows a beaver's favorite food is wood. I just hope we brought along enough of it for our 3-day galactic space journey. So let's do the math. If Robin's beaver devours 6 inches of wood every half hour, and Jessica's beaver devours 8 inches of wood every 45 minutes, how much wood will I need to keep both of these beavers well fed
all weekend long? Just because I can, you know. But anyway. Alright, guys. I'm going to finish up there and I'm going to have to clip that out, frankly, because, you know, copy claims and all that sort of shit. But as always, people, please remember, you are not a piece of shit. You do have value and you do contribute to society, especially if you hit that like button for me. I'll be back on Jeff's for the business trial starting at the lunch break, provided I don't sleep through the alarm again. But yeah, otherwise, hopefully, I'll probably still do a show. What are we? Today is Tuesday or Wednesday? I can't remember. For me, it is Wednesday. It'll depend whether or not I go to the regional office tomorrow about whether or not I do a show tomorrow. But yeah, stay healthy, wealthy, and wise, people, and I will catch you on the flip side. Oh, hang on, I'll check whether or not anyone is up. Is there anywhere that I can shunt you guys across to? Let me have a look. Content, live, customization, redirect. Anyone on? All right, we got Law Talk with Mike, the So You Like podcast, or Mandu. Where do you want to go? Oh, hang on. No, it's Sovereign Citizen Double Crazy. I'll send you over to Law Talk with Mike. That should be fun. All right. Okay, where are we? Peace, peeps.
This shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.